Thank you very much. 100 years ago, the Great War was just coming to an end. We were still using horses and carts quite predominantly, but the women in the UK got the vote for the first time, following on behind New Zealand, Australia, Norway, Finland. And it was the start of really a shift through the suffrage movement. Today, Me Too is driving a different dialogue, and what started as a metadata tag has become a movement and has now resulted in a bill in Congress. We also see today more than twice the number of female leaders politically globally since 2000, but we're still only at less than 10%. In 100 years, we expect that we won't be driving cars anymore. We won't have smartphones because we'll have some kind of connected tech into how we live. And the World Economic Forum still believes we'll have to wait another 174 years for the gender pay gap to close. It's pretty poor, right? I think we need to think about how we can accelerate. I think we need to think about all that tech, that fourth industrial revolution that we're going through. We need to think about how we can tap into that, to use it as an accelerator, to just drive a better experience, pull those diverse teams together, and leverage tech, not for all the negative, all the scarcity we talk about, how few women, but let's really explore how we can use that technology to accelerate the pace of change. It's slightly more than 20 years ago that I entered the workforce as a young engineer, and I was pretty optimistic about the future then. I didn't really worry too much about being a woman. It hadn't really occurred to me that I was the only woman in my team. It was just me exploring and growing up in the world. And I actually feel as optimistic about the future today as I did then. We see more women prepared to put themselves forward as role models, and as importantly, we see more men on stage taking action, helping pull us up, helping sponsors. And I've had as many male sponsors in my career as I've had female. So whilst we're dealing with a whole mass of negative data, only 22% of computing science graduates in the US are women, and it's set to decline. We struggle in all of our countries, bar one or two, to really pull women into the technology sector at entry level. When you look at the counter to some of that, though, and some of the research that exists, women are more likely to welcome technology into how they work and be prepared to work with intelligent machines to change the way they work. They're more willing than men. When you look at the surveys which have been done recently around the skills that the C-suite think are really important for the future, communications ranks as highly as technology skills. So, because we like to classically label things, the things which are classically female around ability to communicate and that empathetic and team build is matched as highly as the need to really understand technology and digital. And so I say, let's be optimistic, and today we're going to explore that opportunity. We're not going to drive positive change without deliberate action. And today we're going to really have the panel explore that topic, to explore how that shift to data-driven enterprise, to artificial intelligence, how can we leverage that in a positive way? How do we balance the sea of change comment that Margaret Mitchell from Microsoft made, the sea of dudes commenting on the number of men there are in AI. We're all very aware the machines will learn the same bias as those who code it, which is why we need those diverse teams involved. But when we look at those positive statements, I think we should embrace it and look to the future. And finally, we need to think about the actions each of us can take. So thank you for joining us today. We have an amazing panel with us who we're going to meet shortly. But first of all, it's my pleasure to introduce Susan Balbo. She's the Congresswoman and Chair of W20 Group in Argentina. And thank you very much.